This next story isn't about nostalgia. It's about the here and now. It's about the next phase, the next generation, the next chapter in one North County neighborhood story. And we don't know how it's going to turn out. In late December, we tagged along with John Throw from St. Louis County's Problem Property Unit and Jamie O'Hare, director of the volunteer organization Neighbors Assisting Neighbors. They were checking out complaints about abandoned homes in the Spanish Lake area of North County. They wanted to see how bad the problems were at the reported addresses, although they're pretty good at spotting these houses just by driving around.
This is always an indication, because the phone company delivers the phone book. Of course, nobody picks it up.
Right, right.
Now this would be a good project for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, because this is highly labor intensive, but somebody has to do it.
Yeah.
Because the people living around here, like that guy over there's got a nice house, and he's saying, "What about this?"
So what we'll do is get back here, break all this up, bring it to the street, and then the county comes out and picks it up.
But you can see here, somebody kicked it in. And what they do when they go in is they take the copper. And if the water's on and they pull copper out of the second floor, it runs to the first floor and to the basement. And a copper thief will get $30 worth of copper, and he'll do $30,000 worth of damage to the property.
Spanish Lake is like a lot of the older suburbs of North County that have been hit hard by subprime mortgage problems. These are modest homes built mostly in the 1950s and 60s. This was as far north as the post-war suburban growth could go in St. Louis County. It has gone through racial change over the years from mostly white to mostly black. It was, and still is, a place with a lot of first-time homeowners.
This is where a lot of the bad mortgages were written. The original inhabitants of these houses are all gone. They're all moving out or dying. And new owners are coming in, and of course most of them are very good and very successful as owners, but too many of them aren't. When a property is foreclosed, they're usually pressed for time, so whatever they don't want, they leave. If it's not precious and very portable, often it gets left. All we got to do is get that boat out of there. Otherwise, it looks pretty good.
Another empty house had brush in the back that volunteers could clean up. But there was another problem they wanted to get to right away.
Gang graffiti is very discouraging.
It's intimidating.
It scares people. They want to get out of the neighborhood right away. So as soon as we can find it, we paint it. So we'll paint this very quickly. Yeah.
But again, you said this is a neighborhood that's teetering.
Yes.
So it's not the worst case scenario.
No,
yet.
not at all.
Right.
And you want to keep it from getting there.
We don't want it to be the tipping point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We want to tip the scales the other way and help these people out, because a lot of these folks won't ever get a better house than this. They may be, security guards and cafeteria workers, and this is the best they'll ever have, and they love it and they treasure it. Yeah. And where are they going to go if this takes over? So that's where we come in and say, well, we'll help you a little bit.
Spanish Lake is an area in trouble, but not beyond hope. It could go either way. There are houses like this one, a leaky roof, flooded basement, and mold, that might be saved. The county could use neighborhood stabilization money to buy it, fix it up, and get it back on the market. But if the community pitches in, smaller problems can be tackled before they become big problems. Spanish Lake is unincorporated. It doesn't have a city council or a city hall, but it does have an unpaid community association that works with the county, with police and social service organizations and volunteers. The president of the community association is Dora Gianoulakis. We first met her when we did a story about the ongoing effort to turn the historic Twillman House into the Spanish Lake Community Center. Gianoulakis is an organizer, a fundraiser, and a believer in this and many other projects. There must have been a lot of doubters, though, and probably still are.
I think there still are.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, this is going to happen. Believe me.
I do believe it. She fights hard to make sure that when Spanish Lake does take a step forward, it doesn't get pushed 2 steps back. So when Metro said it was going to cut all bus service outside of I-270, the Community Association lobbied to keep the Spanish Lake line running. For a struggling community, the bus is a vital link to jobs. And there are so many interrelated issues: the economy, jobs, houses, families, and kids. Developing youth programs, recreation, tutoring, that sort of thing, it's a big priority.
And it's a blossoming program. The school provides the space, the church provides the volunteers. And that's the kind of partnerships we want to see developing here in Spanish Lake.
Jamie O'Hare came to this meeting at the Trinity High School Library to bring everybody up to date on the inspection of the empty homes and to talk about the next step.
So we're meeting at Twillman House at 9 a.m. and it'll be a quick 4-hour cleanup.
And so, just a couple of weeks after the inspection of the Spanish Lake homes with complaints on file, action was being taken. Neighbors assisting neighbors, working with the Community Association, brought the volunteers together on a cold Saturday morning.
I've got gloves right here that I want everyone to grab, and I'm going to let...
They got the plan and they headed out, and the dumpsters were waiting for them. Usually these volunteer work crews help residents who have a cleanup or a maintenance problem that they just don't have the ability or the money to fix. But today they were helping Spanish Lake residents who wanted the house next door or down the block cleaned up. And everybody involved knows they have jobs to do, not just helping people directly, but helping people to help themselves and maybe help their neighbors.
A lot of the people who move in to these modest homes may never have lived in a home before. And they also they think they're moving to some place called Spanish Lake. Well, where's the city hall? We're putting together a website which hopefully is going to help answer some of these kinds of questions for people. But most people who live in Spanish Lake have no idea it's unincorporated.
Organizers have seen this kind of community, government, volunteer coalition work in other neighborhoods. But it is hard work.
A continued and committed effort. It's definitely not something that you address once and it goes away. And, you know, they see a difference over time. So it's a fight that is a continual one, but it's worth it, and every time it gets a little bit easier.